Okay, so the first level I'm going to walk through is the simple OS command injection one. They actually give you, there's a shell command that gets the user supplied product and store IDs and whatever way it's being submitted on the form, returns the raw output of that command in the response. And the idea is to get it to instead execute the who am I command, or in conjunction with this shell command, execute the who am I command to figure out the name of the current user. And so if you go in here and you say view the details of this thing, and you inspect the page to see what requests there are. So here I am. I'm going to say for this product ID 1, I'm going to check to see the London office, do a check stock on this thing. It's a 62 units. And I go to the network settings and I say, well, what was this request? And this request in the payload, you can see product ID is 1, store ID is 1. So just like it said, it takes these two parameters and it goes and it checks the stock using a script. So programmatically, I'm going to copy the DNS name here. Programmatically, I am going to see if I can replicate this request. So this is the site name. This was the URL that the thing queried. If you saw the stock URL, it's /product/stock. It's a site name product stock. And that's basically what this is. And it's going to be a post request. And the post data, as we saw in that form, has product ID of 1, store ID of 1. So I'm going to say, let me just run this thing and hopefully I get 62 back. And so it gives me 62. So exact same thing. One of the things I can do is, let me see if I can, so again, you're going to spray characters on this thing. Let me put a semicolon in the product ID to see if that does anything. And then you can see, hey, look, not only did it not work, it gave me the script that it was trying to invoke. And it says $2 is an unbound variable. That means this likely terminated the statement and it needed a second parameter. So in the shell scripts, $1 is the first argument, $2 is the second argument. And so if this thing needed 2 arguments and only got 1, then it'd say $2 is not bound. And then moreover, that semicolon is likely the thing that makes this an extra command, right? Because now it says, hey, the command 1 is not found. It was probably terminating the stock report. Stock report was expecting 2 arguments, basically 1 and 1, but because the semicolon is in there, it gave you that. So that's interesting. And so maybe if I can just do, so I can run the command. So say I'll let the stock report run as intended. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually append my command here. So maybe if I can just do an ls, I can get the contents of the directory back. And that's what this is. So you can see the stock report. So I'm actually probably in Peter's home directory. And you could actually do a pwd to figure out that you are in Peter's home directory. So you're in Peter's home directory. And this is classic command injection. Since I know that there's a shell script there, why don't I just take a look at what the shell script has in it? So that's what I'm going to do next. Let me see the logic that goes and checks to see whether or not I have the thing in stock. And this is it. This is their stock check script. And it's not really a good way of checking your stock. It's basically taking a checksum of the first 2 arguments, taking the first 2 bytes of it, and then, yeah, it's basically just generating some kind of random looking number out of the input. So that's what I'm going to show you there. You can do things like figure out what this thing is running. So this would be uname-a. I can say, well, what operating system is this running? And it's running Linux. And so this is, oh, it's running Amazon Linux. So this is probably all running on Amazon now. You could actually, I don't know if Etsy password is accessible. You could just run that and then get, oh, permission denied. That's too bad. In order to this level, you have to figure out who the user is. So this is going to be a who am I is what I'm looking for. So this hasn't been solved yet. I always like watching this thing get solved as I run these scripts for some reason. So we'll run the script and then get the result back. And so we'll run this script and then solve this level. So Peter for UISF6. All right, so that's the first one.